Germany. For decades, it was the economic powerhouse of Europe, the engine that kept the continent running. Its factories produced everything from luxury cars to industrial machinery. Its economy was unstoppable. But today, Germany is in trouble. Industries are shutting down, factories are laying off workers. The economy is shrinking. But while Germany is struggling, another country is rising to take its place: France. The country best known for baguettes and fashion is now turning into the military, innovation, AI, and energy leader of Europe, and is about to leave Germany in the dust. So what happened here? How did Germany go from being the king of Europe to falling behind? And why is France suddenly the future? Let's break it down. During early 2000s, Germany was thriving. Exports doubled. The economy grew from 2 trillion to $4.5 trillion. Unemployment dropped from 12% to just 6%. German engineering and manufacturing were the best in the world. It was a simple formula: make high-quality industrial goods, export them to the world, profit. This worked perfectly until the world changed. Over the past few years, this economic engine has stalled. Industrial layoffs are mounting. One of the country's largest industrial firms, Bosch, has announced plans to lay off over 8,000 workers. ThyssenKrupp, Germany's largest steel producer, is laying off 11,000 employees. ZF, a major automotive supplier, will eliminate 12,000 jobs by 2030. Continental is cutting 5,000 workers. Automotive industry is fast scrambling and being replaced by Chinese EVs. Volkswagen, the pride of German industry, has announced its first ever factory closures, now totaling 3. Beyond these job cuts, Germany has failed to grow meaningfully for the past 7 years and has been in recession for the past 2. This economic downturn has also led to political instability, prompting Germany to head into new elections. So, once a symbol of stability, Germany is now facing an economic and industrial crisis. It struggles to regain its previous growth amid the energy crisis, rising competition from China, and the global trend towards protectionism. The reasons for this decline are structural: the collapse of globalization, increased global competition, particularly from China, and ongoing energy crisis. In the 2000s, globalization was surging, the European Union was expanding, the US had become a massive consumer economy, Russia was supplying cheap energy to integrate into the global system, and China was still in its early stages of development, primarily acting as a consumer rather than a manufacturing competitor. Now, global trade is no longer growing rapidly. Liberal globalization has given way to protectionist policies exemplified by the election of the leaders like Donald Trump, who promote economic nationalism. The US no longer wants to be the world's primary consumer. Meanwhile, China has evolved from a consumer-driven economy into a direct competitor to Germany in industrial, in manufacturing and exports. Germany's economic model was built on a global system that no longer exists. Germany's economic downfall is closely tied to its worsening energy crisis. The country's problems stem from 3 major factors: the loss of cheap Russian gas, the phase-out of nuclear and fossil fuel energy, the underperformance of renewable energy. Germany's economy relied on cheap Russian gas for everything. Even during the Cold War, Western Germany was getting a third of its gas from the Soviet Union. That only increased in the 2000s, when Chancellor Schröder and later on Angela Merkel doubled down on Russia as Germany's main energy supplier. They spent 10 billion euros on a massive pipeline, Nord Stream 2. But before it could even go online, the war in Ukraine happened, and so no more Russian gas. Germany scrambles to replace it. Moreover, they shut down the nuclear reactors. The decision to phase out nuclear power, unlike France, has left Germany completely dependent on expensive imported energy. Germany had 36 nuclear reactors in total over the years, but as part of its nuclear phase-out policy, it gradually shut them down. By April 15, 2023, Germany closed its last 3 nuclear reactors. At its peak, Germany's nuclear power supplied about 30% of its electricity. But after the Fukushima disaster in 2011, the German government decided to phase out nuclear energy in favor of renewable sources. And yes, while renewables are partially replacing nuclear, solar and wind aren't enough. And now, energy prices are out of control. Factories are shutting down and Germany has no backup plan. Meanwhile, across the border, France had been preparing for this moment all along. While Germany was shutting down nuclear power, France was doing the opposite. France gets 70% of its electricity from nuclear energy. Thanks to its vast network of 56 active nuclear reactors and 6 in progress, it is the largest nuclear energy producer in Europe and the second largest in the world after the US. So France is energy sufficient and immune from the energy shocks that have crippled Germany's economy. And guess what? That cheap energy is turning France into the tech hub of Europe. Paris is rapidly transforming into the innovation and AI capital of Europe. While German industry is struggling, France is securing massive investment from tech giants and startups alike. Companies such as Google, Meta, and OpenAI are expanding their AI research and data centers in France, recognizing the country's stable energy supply, strong government support, and growing AI talent pool. Some key developments include French President Emmanuel Macron recently announced plans for 109 billion euros of private AI investment. UAE announced investment between 30 to 50 billion euros in the construction of AI data center in France as part of a campus focused on the technology's development. Google expanding its AI research centers in Paris. Meta, or known as a Facebook, investing heavily in AI development in France. Mistral AI, a French startup becoming a leading competitor in generative AI, rising hundreds of millions in funding. Nvidia, Microsoft, and Amazon prioritizing French AI infrastructure over Germany due to better energy reliability. Meanwhile, Germany, AI companies don't want to set up shop there because running massive data centers require a lot of energy, and Germany simply doesn't have it. In addition to all of this, unlike Germany, France has one of the most powerful militaries in Europe and globally. Single European nuclear power with 290 nuclear warheads. For years, Germany was the undisputed leader of Europe, economically, politically, industrially. But all the things that made Germany great, they are now holding it back. Germany's old-school industry is struggling to compete in modern world. Its high energy costs are driving businesses away. It has no strong military and no nuclear weapons, making it geopolitically weak. Meanwhile, France is quietly taking over. It has cheap nuclear energy, it's attracting the biggest AI companies in the world, it has a strong military, nuclear weapons, and a massive defense industry. And that's why for the first time in modern history, France, not Germany, might become the new leader of Europe. So what happens next? Germany could turn things around, but it needs a major policy shift. Reinvest in energy, embrace AI, modernize its economy. But right now, all signs point to France taking the lead. And if that happens, we could be witnessing one of the biggest power shifts in Europe in decades. This story isn't over yet, but one thing is clear. Germany is no longer the future. It looks like France is. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye for now, and see you in the next episode.